now let's connect to the Capitol with Governor Dan McKee. Lots to talk about, from Hasbro announcing its move to Boston to Helena Foulkes announcing her gubernatorial campaign. And the governor is joining us here in studio. Governor, always good to see you. Thanks for making some time for us.
Thanks for the invite, Dan.
Let's talk a little bit about Hasbro. You and I have been talking about this for a very, very long time. They made the decision to go to Boston. Not many were surprised about this. And of course, the question that you're asked as governor is, do you think there's anything you could have done, anything, to keep them? Or was their mindset on Boston?
I think they had a mindset on Boston, but I think we opened up their mind with the presentations we did, looked at 5 different options for them. They zeroed down into 2. We continue to have conversations with Chris Cox, the CEO. In the end, they decided to move to Boston. We're not happy about that. I think they made the wrong decision based on the package that we put in place with, I think, incentives with local cities and state, over $100 million of incentives over a period of time if they had enough jobs in place. But I think one of the things that we need to continue to tell people in the Rhode Island, look, since I've been governor, we've added 36,000 private jobs. We've built, just alone in Quonset, 195 and Amazon, over 5 million square feet of space to actually service those jobs. So yes, we are sorry that they're leaving. We thank them for all the work they did here. Right. But also we're very cognizant that not everybody's going to Boston. Right. So we're going to be planning job fairs for individuals that decide not to, that live in Rhode Island. That don't want to go up to Boston
with Hasbro. When was the last time you talked to the CEO, Chris Cox?
Chris Cox was right during the time that I called him, to express the state's sympathies and mind when Helena Foulkes passed, just a few weeks ago. Okay. During that conversation, he told me that decision hadn't been made. I let him know everything we put on the table is still on the table until they make that decision, and that he would give us a call. I would be the first one to call. And he did? I didn't get a personal call from him, but their office gave us a call about 10 minutes before the email went out to their staff.
Right. Do you think he could have handled this a little bit better in terms of communicating with you? It seems like he left a lot of people in the dark.
Yeah, I think that he was kind of removed from Rhode Island, being from Seattle. It's different than working with the Hassenfelds and the history of that the family in that business in the city of Pawtucket. I don't think he was as connected in Rhode Island as that business should be. Right. And
that seemed clear from the beginning.
From the beginning, they had that option. We kind of pressed hard to say, hey, give us an opportunity. Right. My conversation with him early on, give us an opportunity. We'll put a package together that I think will be really, really compelling, and it was. It took them a little while to make the final decision.
Right, and arguably some people will say that you can't compete with Seaport. I was up there with the day it broke, that. There's a lot of big firms. Well, one day after this happens, Helena Foulkes, your old friend, jumps into the race and doesn't pull any punches. She called you incompetent.
Well, look, our records are going to be part of this whole process during this campaign. Her record, as I mentioned, pointed out that she, as CEO of CVS, she fueled a opioid pandemic, and she profited from it. And look, her legacy at CVS is going to be one of greed, betrayal, and heartless, reaction to the thousands of people that were impacted by her decisions.
We asked Helena Foulkes this question yesterday, because our job is to hold people accountable, and we asked her about your ad that you posted yesterday and your comments, and I just want to show you her reaction, if we can cue that up.
Did you and CVS drop the ball under your watch?
I disagree with the whole premise of that lawsuit. I really do. We did everything in our power. Under my watch, we had almost a 40% reduction in opioids dispense because we did more than anyone. So I feel very strongly about that record.
I asked her about this when I did a profile on her recently, and I grilled her on it. I want to know what you know exactly. What proof are you basing this on that you can say 100% she knew about it, she profited it, and people died?
So the federal prosecutors totally disagree when they filed a complaint in a lawsuit and stated in that lawsuit that the executives at this company made decisions that compounded the problem, and they were responsible for the pandemic, the epidemic of the opioids. So they can argue it out in court, but the fact of the matter is the person in charge at that time fueled a pandemic, epidemic on the opioids, and they profited from it.
So
right in their complaint, they stated that they knowingly profited from the sale of these opioids.
And her saying what you just heard her say makes her a liar.
Well, what I would say is right now it's not an investigation. This is a complaint. It was filed a lawsuit. So yes, the person that was in charge, again, profited, and clearly the U.S. attorney as well as the prosecutors are moving ahead, saying that the executives had knowledge of the situation and they continued to peddle the pills and for profit.
She also went after you about the Washington Bridge. She made a pretty direct comment that she had given birth to 4 kids in 4.5 years, the time it's taking for the Washington Bridge. She thinks it should be done faster. And then it goes back to that, what she called you incompetent. How do you respond to that?
Again,
when somebody calls you incompetent, that's a kind of a,
well, again,
that's a big one, Gov, right?
Our records are going to stand
Yeah.
on their own. And on the Washington Bridge, she doesn't have her facts straight in terms of comparison with Maryland. We're far ahead of them. They are right now. There's not a price in place in Maryland. We have a price in place. We're going to build a new bridge. I certainly didn't. I inherited a problem there that everybody agrees with. I kept people safe. She didn't when she had an opportunity at CVS in terms of her things with the opioid issues.
And it is fair to point out, and I pointed out in several interviews with you, that you inherited the Washington
Yep.
Bridge problem. And in terms of Hasbro, it appears the CEO had made up his mind no matter what you offered him. But still, when you're governor, you take credit for the good and you take blame
Absolutely.
for the bad. So
I know where
she's going to go after you.
I know where the buck stops.
Yeah.
The people in Rhode Island will know that the buck stopped with her when she was CEO of CVS.
All right, Governor, I appreciate the time. We never have enough time.
Yes,
though,
never.
So I'm going to have to do a 10 news conference or something so we can talk about it. But I appreciate seeing you. I'll see you again next month.
Yes.
And thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Tamara.